How you got into building.
Got into building through landscaping.
What's the relationship between you two?
Father and daughter, personally.
Are you 50-50? Is it 75-25?
I was the main shareholder. Since then, Helen has become shareholder.
Did you buy in or was it gifted?
It was gifted.
You said that you'd made some big mistakes that had cost millions of dollars. Where were those?
Pricing is number one.
What changes have you made? What were you looking for when you joined TPB?
Our turnover had just continued to drop and drop and drop and drop, and I knew I needed some help.
And what would you say to someone who is struggling?
I would say don't be scared to try.
All right, welcome to the Builder's Ladder, brought to you by The Professional Builder. Hi, I'm Marti, founder of The Professional Builder, and today we're with Martin and Helen. How are you?
We're very good, thank you. Excited to be here.
Yes, very excited to be here. Thank you for asking us to be on the podcast.
And thank you very much for taking time out to share your journey, both the ups and downs, warts and all. So let's kick off from the start. Tell us a little bit about how you got into building and your background leading up to today.
Yeah, well, I've been a sort of a serial entrepreneur. I've owned a number of businesses, have grown them. The very first one was when I was 18. I owned a compost business, sold that after a few years. Then had a nursery business for 22, 23 years, sold that. And then I've had other businesses, but basically I got into building through landscaping. I'm not actually a qualified builder. I'm, as I say, an entrepreneur. And in landscaping, you do a lot of building. Sold that landscape business in 2018 and then was asked to tender for some multi-story decking jobs on commercial buildings and got both of them. And so next thing I'm sitting there going, oh, I've got $300,000 worth of contracts and nobody to do it. That's how it's building.
They say necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Yeah. And during this time, Helen, in both the landscape business and then in the building business, has been the administrative help that I've very much relied on. So
what's the relationship between you two for everyone, both personally and professionally?
Father and daughter, personally. So known him my whole life. And professionally, yeah, his administrative help to start with. When Dad started the landscape business, I just had my first baby, so he asked me could I do the books, and that came at a perfect time because I could do it at home part-time. And then as NFL has grown, it's just grown with that. So still I handle all of the administrative side, and also now I'm branching out into the marketing and social media and stuff like that. And I always used to say, whatever doesn't involve a hammer, I do.
Yeah. Nice.
And so, yeah, professionally, it works really well between me and Dad because he has a lot of trust in me and faith in me to just leave all of that side that he doesn't, not that he doesn't want to do, but he shouldn't have to do and doesn't need to do, and knows that I can do it.
How do you balance having a family relationship both in work, and then how do you draw boundaries, draw zones? Do you have job descriptions? How are you able to, keep the culture?
We're both quite, we don't mind talking about work almost any time of the day or night or during family get-togethers, or because we know we won't dwell on it. We just go, blah, 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 and then that's it. And then you're talking about something else. So and neither of us have ever been very set on getting upset.
Mm-hmm.
So we've always managed to basically just get through any and every issue that might have arisen, and to be fair, haven't really had issues arise. So in answer to your question, no, we don't have job descriptions. No, we don't have any sort of specific understanding, anything written down, other than my daughter has done a fabulous job over the last 12 years, and I hope it continues.
Absolutely. And so do you have, what's the structure of the business? Are you 50-50? Is it 75-25? Are you like, and what is the succession plan, or what does it look like going forward?
Ooh. Yeah, that's a biggie. And
I'm here to ask tough questions.
yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Go for it. And look, the structure of the business is that I started it, and I was the main shareholder. Since then, Helen has become shareholder. My wife
did you buy in, or was it gifted? How did you structure
it? It was gifted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And any performance, or you just wanted to retain a great team member?
No, so 2020 maybe. Yeah, it was either 2020 or 2021. Can't remember exactly. I think it might have been 21. My eldest daughter, Helen's sister, well, no, go back a bit further than that. 2019, I asked my son-in-law to join us. He is the qualified builder.
Mm-hmm.
He came in and he sort of took the reins very well for 3 years. And his wife, so in other words, Helen's sister, my eldest daughter, was in a similar position to Helen, where she wanted to sort of drop back from being full-time employed to being part-time. So then we also employed her. So then I had Helen, my son-in-law, and my eldest daughter, and I decided that it was time they became shareholders. Mm-hmm. And that's what sort of created that. At the time, the business didn't really have a lot of value.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And so, yes, the shares were just given to them. But since then, my eldest daughter and my son-in-law haven't been part of the business for a couple of years, and those shares have been transferred back to myself. So at the moment, I'm the majority shareholder, and another partial shareholder is my wife.
And what is the plan going forward? Because obviously, as the business increases in revenue, increases in size, increases in net profit, EBITDA, it's going to become way more valuable.
Correct.
So do you have, like, is the goal to sell it in 5 years? Is it to structure a buy-in where Helen buys more, or do you want to sell the whole thing, or you guys haven't, got an end date in mind?
Well, the fact that TPB has introduced us to BMD, then talking to Ken Longshore at the Gold Coast Summit, he suggested I read a book,
Making Money is Killing Your Business?
Making Money is Killing Your Business, which I've done, and that really explained BMD well, a lot more, and I've really understood that whole concept a lot more. And so I'm now working through in my mind at the moment, and I haven't written it down yet, what all of that means to NFL. And yeah, to be fair, a succession plan right now, we haven't got one. Helen's always said, well, what have you always said?
I don't want to own the business. If we have talked, we've talked a lot of theories back and forth over the time. And if somebody came in as a general manager of sorts, mm-hmm. when Dad was getting ready to retire, and that person wanted to own the business, then I'm happy to, manage it with them in the role that I currently do. But I just don't, I see the amount of work that Dad does, and I don't want it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But
so
then,
sorry.
But then the fact is, if say this is succession in order for Dad to retire, and say that's in 10 years, I'll be in my mid-50s by then. So perhaps it would be a good idea to, for myself, have a better plan like owning the business, but I just don't think it's in my wheelhouse.
It's always good to have a clear target of where you want to go, how you're going to get there, and at least it gives you a North Star of what you're both aiming towards, and you can modify that as you go. So tell us a little bit about the type of work that you do, the structure of your team, both in the office and out on site.
Me? Yeah. So in the office, it's me. I am the office. And then, so Dad and I are the owners and the face, you would say. And so Dad does all the meeting of clients, prospecting, going to site visits, then creating the quote from that with help from our PM, Albert, who, when necessary, he would put in his value to a
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
To a estimation. And then
is Albert doing the labor hours, or where does he come in the pricing phase?
Okay, so if we go back a little bit again, so from that time when my son-in-law came on board and my daughter came on board, this is now 2019, 2020, and things are absolutely moving along. We moved from a business that had 3 guys to a business that had 20 guys within 2 years, and I wish that I'd known about TPB 4 years ago, because in the process of all that growth, there was a lot of mistakes, which cost me probably close to $1 million. The business is still here, only thanks to a lot of hard work and cutting back and etc. But where I'm going with that is that we have had more office staff. We have had construction managers. We have had project managers. We have had employees. We're now back to a very small team of contractors other than Helen and I.
Sure. Okay. Gotcha. And what's the type of work that you're mainly doing? And I understand you live in a very nice seaside town in Auckland.
You know it well, Marty.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Marty.
So you're based in St Heliers, and what are the type of the breadth and scope of projects that you mainly do?
So again, if we go back, we started off the building side of the business doing commercial. That pretty much continued on for the next 5 years.
As the main contractor or a subcontractor to the
As a subcontractor.
Okay, gotcha. So mainly being a labor.
Correct. Right. Yeah. So in that time, I also took on, because I thought, oh yeah, this is a piece of cake. I took on 2 terrace house builds as the main contractor.
Famous last words, right? Like, it's be a piece of cake. Kind of like when my wife says to me, we need to talk. I'm like, nothing good is going to come from this.
Yes, well, I wish someone had said that to me more emphatically, because I'd be an awful lot richer right now. Anyway, we are where we are, and the thing is, we're still in business. So yes, we have been involved in residential and 2 basically developments, and we've also historically and right now been involved in doing a lot of decking. So right now we're actually creating a deck opposite the driveway of your house.
You're kidding?
No. Number 3, Kirk May Place.
One on the corner.
Right.
Ah, classic. When are you going to be there? Pop over for a coffee, or text me when you're nearby.
The guys only just signed up 2 days ago, and we start there on the 10th.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, because I walk Rocky up there every morning. So, yeah, if I see him, I'll yell out. So you said that you'd made some big mistakes that had cost millions of dollars. Which of those, can you share some examples? Like, where were those?
So pricing is number 1. So I mean, you talk about the 3 mistakes that people can make: labor, pricing, materials. Pricing was number 1. I took that far too easily, and then realized that once I'd signed up to this basically contract price, that there was no way of moving the client in any way, shape, or form if anything came up.
Yeah.
And the reality is, I didn't even know how to do that. So I had no skill, no pricing knowledge, and on top of that, I didn't have a team that I could actually steer and keep on track, because the project hours that I'd allowed for ballooned out by at least 70% on that Glendine job.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I think I'd allowed for 8,000 hours and we ended up doing 13,000 hours, something like that. It was massive overrun of hours, as well as we were obviously at a time, well, not obviously, we were building in 21, 22 at a time when prices were just going up every month. So, I got caught very badly in both of those.
So what changes have you made to help fix those pricing, back costing in real time, etc., pricing to a target margin, etc.? What changes have you made to how you run the business now to alleviate those?
Well, we've taken on board the fact that we need better systems, and those systems being driven by for instance, a project management system. So we've taken on board WonderBuild. That's enabled me to be an awful lot more accurate in terms of the margin, the back costing that Helen's doing through there. So you talk about that?
Wonderful.
Yeah. It's a bit more.
Do you see what I did?
It is wonderful. Yeah, it's a bit more in real time, and but also I think it's also that you're getting Albert to help you, and his experience and being able to read plans better and knowing every element of what to look for in the plan. And a lot of it, you touched on it earlier with the Glendine job, was naivety. Like, you just thought, oh, well, this and this, I'll throw a price to that. And I imagine the client was just like, yes, please.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take this guy. And so, taking your time, I think, is a key ingredient to it as well, not rushing. We rushed into that one. So the systems help, but I think knowing what you know is the key ingredient. You learn the most from your mistakes. So you're willing to slow down.
Yeah, so in that respect, I've become hugely more risk averse. I was taking risks that were just stupid. They were just stupid. Shouldn't have taken those risks, but I did, and they landed me in hot water.
Let's talk a little bit about what were you looking for when you joined TPB, and what have your results been so far this year?
So I got an email from Carter's, who's one of our suppliers, and it said, "Oh, join this webinar, blah blah." And I'd never heard of TPB, wasn't aware of that you guys were out there. Listened to Owen for an hour and a half, and then just sort of got up from that and went and talked to my wife and talked to Helen and said, this could be a real good thing to do. We were basically, this is back in March this year, we were basically at the point where our turnover had just continued to drop and drop and drop and drop, because all the projects that I'd priced previously were completing. We were letting go of a lot of staff towards the end of last year. Then at the beginning of this year, and we'd come down to basically at that point probably 4 or 5 guys, and I needed to really understand how was I going to do this differently, and I knew I needed some help, and that's where it all started, really.
I think that's what separates successful people from those who don't reach their potential is one is curiosity and the other one's intensity. It's curiosity. How do I do this better? And it doesn't matter whether it's baking a cake, losing weight, whatever. How can I do this better? Who's done it before? Who's got world-class frameworks, processes, accountability that I can learn from to get the result that they've got in a faster and more confident step-by-step manner. And the second one is intensity, is how quickly do you execute and shorten the time between learning and implementation, and then not letting any roadblocks get in the way, overcoming those challenges, whether you have to go through 4 or 5 foremen until you find the right one, but you hold your standards, you hold your culture, you implement visibility with your labor hours, etc. So what's been your biggest wins, and then talk about mindset shift this year?
Well, I'll talk about my mindset shift because I'm much more skeptical than Dad, and Dad's always been he loves to get on board with a coaching, or I don't want to call it a fad, but a new thing. He loves revolutionizing himself. And so when he came to me with TPB and he said, let's go on and chat to this guy, it was John, I was like, oh, here we go. And so it took me a bit of convincing to turn around that this might be good for us. And then after we chatted to John, and we're still talking about it, because, it's quite a commitment to join up with TPB.
Yep.
And we're talking about it, and we're like, I don't know, is it going to be worth the money? And I said, well, how about don't read the testimonials on their website? Who's a business that's on the website that gets a bit of airtime? Can you Google that business and call the owner? And so Dad did that. I forget the name of the business. But he called them, and the guy basically said, oh, I'm semi-retired. Like, this has absolutely turned my life around. It's sort of a set and forget kind of thing now. Like, I've got such good systems. Everyone else runs it for me. And I was like, well, that's what we need. And then we started the training, and Dad was like, can you sign in? We've got to start looking at this and, sign up to Fathom and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, geez, Louise. Call your jets. And
he's up, Tiger, pump the brakes.
Yeah. And then I was like, holy smokes, this is a lot of learning, which since we've talked to other people who are new to TVB, like there's so much.
It is a bit at the beginning, right? Like,
yeah.
It's a bit like you're drinking from a fire hose until you kind of think, well, what's the 80-20? And if you just look at what is our one biggest constraint? Okay, it's pricing, or it's back costing in real time, or it's hiring great carpenters, or it's marketing to fill our pipeline, whatever. If we just focus on that for 30 or 60 days,
yes,
and unblock that constraint, is going to make, is the big domino.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what we realized, is you need to break it down into bite-sized pieces. And Dad and I have talked about that a few times now, how we kind of feel like we've been at it for a long time and we aren't achieving much. And then we're like, oh, we've done that. We've checked that off. We've done that. We've done that. We've done that. And I also remember when we went to the summit in Auckland in May, I can't remember what the exercise was, but we're writing down goals or something we needed to achieve in the 90 days. And I wrote, I can't leave it all up to Dad. And I thought, okay, this isn't just Dad's thing, I'm part of it too. So that was my mindset shift.
So what you, Martin?
Yeah, well, I think my mindset shift has really been to understand that. So one of the things that happened in my head, which is the only place that it lives, is that when I lost all this money, I was like, holy mackerel. How do I continue on? Which I did, borrowed a whole bunch of money from family, friends, anybody that would lend me money, and paid a lot of it back. So I managed that, and that's okay. But then when it came to the thought of, okay, I don't really want to be involved in commercial construction anymore. It's just become fiercely competitive. And the sort of rates that they're now offering, this is back even over a year ago, are ridiculous, and I didn't want to tender anymore. So then it was really, okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to go back to residential, and then that sort of boogie came up of, well, you stuffed it up last time. So, and that has been a mindset shift for me to understand that as long as I'm very focused on making sure that the systems and the stuff that I've learned from the TPB training and going to 2 summits now, and actually your webinars, weekly webinars, talking to other builders, all of that stuff is like gold. Your podcast, it's like gold. And you realize, A, we're not the only ones that are stuffed up. That's the first thing. It's like, oh, all these other people have also lost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. And it's almost like a rite of passage, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know any successful building company owners that have not at some stage been close to bankruptcy, close to liquidation, or been deep in the crap and had to borrow money from friends and family to, because quite often it's those tough learnings that make you think, I will never do that again. I will never not be tough on my numbers. I will never not have visibility. I will always price to a target margin of 20% plus. I will make sure that every variation or change order is signed off, priced up through the office, invoiced weekly, etc. And then it's like, lo and behold, this stops a lot of the profit leaks.
Absolutely. And, we've learned some of that. We were already starting to learn, but a lot of it we've actually far more implemented now, and will continue to implement as we move forward getting back into. So, at the moment we've just been doing small projects, a little bit of renovations, small renovations. We have an extension that we're currently pricing. We're hoping to get that. I priced another extension. So this is the competitiveness of the market, right? Using the target margin, everything else. Our price was 340K. The price the guy accepted was 80K less. 80K less. But the thing with that guy, when he accepted his price, he started on the Monday. Like, he accepted it on the Friday, he started on the Monday, so he didn't have any work. And this was a lifeline to that guy. No matter how much profit he wanted to make, it was just a lifeline. And that's some of the tendency in the market, and I'm okay with that. That's how it is. I mean, the thing that Helen's been really working on solidly is all of our marketing collateral, and we now basically we've got ads running on Facebook. We're now using HubSpot to send out emails to be able to also get them to fill out a questionnaire to basically, weed out all of these people that actually you don't want to be talking to.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. And position yourself more as the prize, and you are Simon Cowell.
Yeah.
Because this is people's biggest investment of their life. And so we want to make sure that it's not just price, but we educate people on product, process, and people. Because if you don't do that, then it'll just all become about price. And then it's a race to the bottom.
Exactly. And that's probably the biggest thing that we've also taken on board, is that we actually don't want those particular jobs.
So you can either have there's two types of pain. You can either have the pain of discipline, of putting in the hard yards for the marketing that might take 3, 6, 9 months to fill your pipeline, and a killer sales process, and saying no to some jobs so that you are profitable and you have repeated great months with your bank account going up. Or you can have the pain and regret of competing on price, of not putting in the work into your marketing and your sales to keep your pipeline full, and then having to price jobs low to win them, just to keep you guys busy. So when you choose that pain of discipline over regret, that's how you build a great anything, right? Like great business, great physique, great whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally agree with you. I mean, one of the first things that I noticed that Helen and actually Shane helped us with in the last phase, but Helen built all of the collateral, was the lookbooks, and we have 3 of those. We have one for new builds, one for renos, and one for decking. All photos from stuff that we have done, and the amazement when you hand that to somebody.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, these guys are real. Or you can flick through it and go, oh, we did this on this job and we did this on this job, and you can show them photos. It's like, makes it, it, as soon as you have it, as soon as you have that collateral, even though it took a lot of pain to build it, it's like, wow, it should have had this a long time ago.
Yeah, absolutely right. It makes the intangible tangible, so people can see type of projects you do, what your process is, and then you can cover off those 5 key concerns that people have: timeliness, budget, communication, quality of work, and trustworthiness.
Yeah.
It also answers those 4 key questions: who are you? Who's your company? Can I trust you? And how specifically can you help me? So sales becomes easier and less price resistant when marketing does all that heavy lifting and helps to overcome those concerns and answer those questions.
And a really good example to that is actually this job that we're starting opposite your house. That guy asked me not one thing about price. He wanted the highest level of service and quality that he could get. So he's gone for an American sourced, I don't know if you know anything about decking, composite deck called Trex. Really expensive decking. I mean, it's like 4 times the price of pine. And, he's accepted, not only the price, but that I'm the guy that's going to deliver to get his job done.
And that's the thing, right? Like, other than there being very rich people in St Heliers suburb, not everyone drives a Daihatsu or wants the Hyundai of building. There's plenty of people out there who drive Range Rovers, or it's their pride and joy, and they want the best that they can afford. It's going after those types of people and making sure that your marketing reflects that. And actively marketing rather than just relying on word of mouth in the good times. In the good times, it'll be fine, but when the tide goes out, that's when you see who has had the discipline of marketing to keep their pipeline full. What tools and resources have you found most helpful amongst the one-on-one coaching, the community, the plug-and-play content? Like, what stands out to you?
I've really loved the summits, both the summits, mainly for networking and meeting other people in the same position as you, particularly for me, the woman in construction.
How's that been? The woman in construction?
It's awesome.
It's going from strength to strength to strength.
Yeah, I love it. It's really cool at building identity and what your place is in a construction company, which is typically considered to be a male-dominated field. And so realizing your worth and your value, and that one thing that Mel and Crystal really hammer home is that you're not just the wife, you're not just the daughter. I met a woman at the Gold Coast Summit who was the sister. She was helping run her brother's company, and doing it for love, man. Like, she's got a full-time job, and then was working like 20 hours on her brother's company as well. And so that's been a great learning for me, is realizing you're not just the person in the office who it's really funny when we used to have lots of guys working for us. The guys used to refer to me quite often as the accounts lady, and that used to be a bugbear for me. I was like, oh, the accounts lady, but to them I was, because I paid their invoices and I did the payment claims for the jobs and I paid the bills, and that was the role they saw me in the most. And so the summits have been a great way of meeting other people, and particularly women, and seeing what their role is in the company and what value they add to the company.
For me, it's been similar. It's actually been fabulous watching Helen get so much out of women in construction. I really applaud you guys for getting that, making that happen. Because I think, it's anyway. What have we got so much out of? Understanding that there are actually so many systems out there, like WonderBuild, like Fathom, like HubSpot, like Canva, like, what else are we using? Connecting Xero to Fathom, connecting Xero to WonderBuild. So all of that side of it.
I think that monthly financial report that all our members get. Just gives you clarity, like black and white. Here's what we need to improve.
It's awesome. It's awesome. But I don't want to minimize the coaching. James, our fish, as you guys love to call him.
Yeah. Isn't he a champion? Isn't he a champion of a guy?
He is a champion. He's so enthusiastic and so he just wants to cut to the chase and really get to the nitty-gritty of, okay, what is it that we need to be doing right now to get you to your next goal for your next this coming month, and then make that happen, and give us reminders about how to make it happen, and help us along the way in how to make it happen. And then there is other people like Shane that we've spoken to a couple of times. His breadth of knowledge on the New Zealand industry is absolutely staggering.
Yeah, and contract law and everything.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, and then the other things that I've benefited a lot from is the webinars, the weekly events that are online. You don't have to go anywhere, but you still are seeing all these people who are in exactly the same boat as we are.
Yeah. And what would you say to someone who is struggling, or they're plateaued, or they're going okay, but they know they can achieve more?
Yeah, I would say don't be scared to try. Like a lot of people, and you hear this a lot in stories of TPB, they get caught in the humdrum of the day-to-day, particularly the guy who goes to site and is still tied to site. It's just about allocating some time to your day, to your week, to think about growth and to think about how you can achieve that, and get out of your own head for a minute. It might be asking a friend, asking a colleague, employing someone, of being able to visualize what needs to happen to get out of that plateau.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd say don't hesitate. I mean, guys, business owners, builders, we can so easily make it about the money and the initial investment and then the monthly investment. And it amazes me how fast that actually disappears, and you begin to just go, oh, that's just another cost. And actually, what have I gained from that what is actually a very small cost? Yes, it might take 3, 6, 12 months to really see the gains, but as a total expenditure over the 12 months, it's so minimal, and you get so much back.
Yeah,
it's so many different ways.
It's an investment into you, your team, your systems, your processes, and you can achieve more in 12 months with the right help and coaching and systems than trying to figure it all out on your own for 5 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And the beauty of TPB is that you do have that in so many different ways. You have so many different resources that so many people can use and in their own time. So you have the resource of all the online trainings. You have the resource of the coach that you can call. You have the resource of, you can go to summits. You have the resource of the webinars, the events. Now you've had all of these, which we didn't go to, but you talk about them, all of the events around New Zealand and then Australia.
Yeah.
They're all basically helpful in gathering more information about how do I do it better.
So what does the future look like? You've installed a lot of great systems. Your confidence has grown. You're stacking wins. What's possible for NFL construction going forward?
Well, I've set some pretty expensive budgets.
Well, tell me more.
Yeah, I'm looking in the next to 28, 29 to do $10 million. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Well, I honestly think it's very possible.
Absolutely.
It's not impossible.
No. And there's truckloads of other people out there doing it. And if they can do it,
yeah. And you always hear these little snippets, right? So as I mentioned earlier, we've basically moved to being using just contractors. And then Coach G says on the webinar just 2 days ago, he says everyone that's doing over 5 million has basically got to the point where now they just have this small office and they're using all contractors.
Mhm.
And I'm like, holy Mac, okay. And Lloyd, you're a specialty coach from Oz. That's apparently, I believe, how he runs his business.
Yeah, isn't he fantastic?
He's amazing. Yeah, and Richard Fiske. Different businesses, but yeah, an amazing guy. I mean, turning 17 million, bloody hell.
So good, right? Yeah.
That's really going for it.
And it's like, well, if he can do it in a small town like Timaru, Twizel, and now it's just started up in Christchurch, then what's stopping us here in Auckland?
Yeah.
Totally. And you know, I was around his table at the Gold Coast Summit, and just some of the things that he said were so true. You know, like, this is a guy who's doing so much turnover, and yet he says that I will travel to anywhere, within reason, obviously, within that sort of circle of where he's building, to present in person to the client.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I thought, whoa, okay. Because there was someone else who was saying, no, I'd never do that.
And that's, we know her. And that's been another cool thing about the summits, and also talking to people, listening to people's webinars like Lloyd and Richard, is that you get to realize that these are just regular people. They're not, they're not the captains of industry. Yeah. They are guys who worked hard and put the right systems in place and have grown their business like that. And it's so great how it's so methodical. It's just like, hey, step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this. Sure, there's curveballs coming and you've got to, I hate this word, but you've got to pivot. But it can be done.
Yeah, absolutely. totally. And it's so, the other thing that I think is amazing about those two guys is they're so willing to help other guys.
I think that's one of the best things that I am most proud of with our community is because everyone has helped lift others up, the people who have been lifted up, who are very successful now, are willing to share because they've been lifted up. So it creates a virtuous self-perpetuating flywheel.
Yeah.
And look, to be fair, Marty, I'm also pretty pumped about the fact that we're talking to the owner. I mean, the owner bothers to send us an email and say, hey, do you want to come on the podcast? And I'm like, whoa, okay, thank you. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
The appreciation goes both ways. I love seeing great people in great momentum and doing awesome things, and I greatly appreciate both of you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for coming on to the podcast today, and I look forward to catching up in person, either for a coffee or a glass of vino.
Awesome. Thanks, Marty.
Thanks, mate. See you, mate.
See ya.
Bye.